You can get yourself in trouble if you go to America without knowing these 6 facts. Hello, we're here to help you. My name is Ivan Dreisel, and tonight with me a team of international experts. First, my namesake, Ivan Gromny, also known as Ivan the Terrific, a former Soviet agent who, in his own words, has spent at least 1 year in 147 countries and is an expert on every last one of them. Then we have Holger, a talking brown bear from Germany, known for his love for Nietzsche and Kant. And finally we have Dwayne Elizondo, a drug dealer and a world record holder in crossing Mexican-American border, and a pimp too. If you want to support our educational effort, please consider subscribing as we proceed to the 6 facts you need to know about America. 1. Political correctness. In America, it is not allowed to assume somebody's gender or race. If you see somebody dropping their wallet on the street, you cannot just shout, "Hey man, you dropped your wallet."
Did you just assume my species? Did you just address me as a human? I will sue you. I'm a daffodil, and a proud one.
An Armenian friend told me a story when he was applying for the citizenship. He was asked about his race. He said Caucasian. "You're not a Caucasian," said the immigration officer. "But I am. I was born on Caucasus Mountain." No, your skin is too dark for a Caucasian. I will put an Arab." "But I'm not an Arab." Look, as an Arab you have much bigger rights in America, so don't do yourself a disservice, Arab. And keep in mind that it's not politically correct to call black people. You call them African Americans. That's the way white Americans apology for everything their ancestors did to black slaves.
I don't know why we have to do the same when we Mexicans never kept blacks as slaves.
Well, Dwayne, it turns out to be a lesser crime to have oppressed black people and now call them African Americans than to never have them oppressed and call them blacks.
This is funny, because there is a state in Africa called Niger and nobody demanding that it change its name to African American.
And there are Indians too, but they are called Native Americans.
It is funny, because they come to America from Russia over the ice of Bering Strait, but they don't like to be called Native Russians.
2. Americans love junk food. America is a big country with big people.
It's only big as half as Russia.
Okay, American people are big and fat. And they're fat because they all eat in McDonald's. There are only 3 groups of people who are not fat. Hollywood actors, they pay personal trainers to keep them fit.
Trainers are also actors, but they didn't make a career, so they have to make a living by training those who succeeded.
Second, criminals. You will easily recognize them because they're all black and Latino.
Those who are not blacks are Russians, so you don't have to worry about them.
And the third type of people who are not fat are those who are sick. They call themselves vegetarians and they want animals to be treated as humans.
We can understand that. There were times in Russian history when humans were treated as animals.
3. Americans are ignorant about the world. Be prepared that many Americans don't know anything about the world outside of America. They believe Europe is a country and Africa is the planet which orbits the Earth together with the Sun, and Africans are black because they're too close to the Sun. They believe the Earth is flat and you can fall from the edge and then be caught by the Australians who will make you live upside down. Not all of Americans, of course. Some of them believe that Earth is round and hollow and that the extraterrestrials come from the inside.
This is ridiculous. In that case, they wouldn't be called extraterrestrials, but innerterrestrials.
If you tell them that you are Russian, they have many prejudices against us. They think that we are all terrorists wearing camouflage uniforms, speaking with thick accent and drinking vodka, which is ridiculous. This is not vodka, this is whiskey. They accuse us that we made Donald Fredovich Trump their president. Not that he didn't, but it is not supposed to be common knowledge.
4. Americans are afraid of non-religious people. Yes, most of Americans are very religious and they are afraid of anybody who doesn't believe in God. Their God, not just any God. If you tell them that you are a murderer who hopes that God will forgive his sins, they will say a prayer for you and send a food package to your prison. But if you are a decent person who never committed any crime, but you admit that you're an atheist, they will start pulling their children away from you and their guns closer to you. Which brings us to number 5. Americans are obsessed with weapons. Yes, they are. In America, there are more guns than people. They are armed to their teeth.
That's not true. Yes, they have some weapons, but nobody of them has 7 assault rifles, grenade launcher, bazooka, and a captured German Panzer tank in their backyard. So don't worry, even if you bring only your light weapons, you will still be armed better than them. I mean American civilians, not the army. American army is armed as good as our households.
6. Don't be polite and helpful. Just make sure that you are not too polite, because in America politeness is a sign of a mental illness. And beware, if you see an injured child or a child in any sort of trouble, do not try to help. If you approach a child, you will be arrested as a pedophile.
And in American prison, pedophiles are used as bitches for other inmates. I hate pedophiles, hombre. Because of them, it has become extremely difficult to kidnap a child in America. You cannot explain that your intentions were not sexual, that you are kidnapping it just to blackmail the parents and collect the ransom.
Doing the research for this, we came to a conclusion that we have to make another episode about Americans. So, stay tuned for another 6 things you need to know about the USA. Here you can find out why we are doing all of this, and by clicking here you can subscribe to our channel, which would mean a lot to us. See you next Thursday.